Hello and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. I'm here with Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Michael.
We've been away. We have been away, but now we're back.
Where have you been?
We've been. We have actually been playing D&D. Well, not D&D. We've been playing Pathfinder, but we wanted to store up some episodes and stuff before we released anything. That's what the gap's been about. It's not going to be quite like it used to be. We're probably going to play little sections of adventures and then release those, and then maybe little gaps between. We don't know. We don't quite. Paul is running something else. Paul, you're running Shadowdark, are you not?
I am running Shadowdark. I'm running it very badly, but it's quite good fun.
Paul's got a low opinion of himself, a low opinion that is shared by many people, but not by me. We're very much enjoying Shadowdark, but I think that's going to be later in the year.
Yep. I want to get a lot of it done before I release it.
So much later in the year, it might be 2027.
Later in the decade might be more appropriate.
But we're back, and we've got some Pathfinder 2. This is a session 0. That is, we're going to meet the players, meet the characters. We're not going to meet Lucas.
No.
Lucas is sitting over in the corner of the command pod glowering at me, but he was not around for these actual sessions. We're going to learn a little bit about the setting.
Yep.
We're going to be playing an adventure path from Paizo called Outlaws of Alkenstar, and we're going to be playing the first book of that adventure path, which is called Punks in a Powderkeg by Vanessa Hoskins.
Hi, Vanessa.
Vanessa Hoskins, I believe she now works at Wizards of the Coast as a producer or something ever so grand.
Crikey.
Anyway, that's the adventure we're going to be running. The detail is all inside that actual episode thing, which we're kind of I'm staggering towards. What else do we have to talk about, Paul?
Well, firstly, I have a question. Is there ever going to be a episode or session -1?
What, I don't know.
I mean, what would it be?
I suppose conceivably things could go so badly that we'd actually need to go back further back than the beginning in order to, I don't know.
Even before character creation?
I honestly don't know how much. I'm hoping that Pathfinder 2 is a little bit more lethal than D&D, as you know.
5e was a little soft, wasn't it?
Looking at the Pathfinder death and dying rules, it's a dark place to start, but they're quite complicated. And I can't work out if they're a little bit more severe or not. Well, we'll find out as we go.
So.
I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping so. I mean, they're not like it's not like Shadowdark. Although
Shadowdark
I think have we lost anybody in? Oh, let's not get. That's a spoiler.
At the time of recording,
they won't remember by the time your episodes come out.
At the time of recording, I cannot say.
Fair enough.
Mike, a reminder is flashing up.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do the social media, email, all that nonsense stuff now.
Yes. Wishing of Fishing, Paul.
Wishing of
Fishing.
Fishing.
I've got it written down in front of me. Wishing of Fishing. What is that, you may wonder? It's not a that, it's a them. Wishing of Fishing has left a review on every single one of our Dungeons and Dragons episodes.
What a complete waste of their life.
And including episode 191.
Good Lord.
On Spotify. And that is the kind of thing that gets you mentioned in an intro. Wishing of Fishing, thank you very much. You could join Wishing of Fishing if you rate and review us. Please rate and review us.
Yes.
We don't know why it works, but apparently it works in terms of getting this show in front of more people.
It's paying it forward.
It's paying it forward, and you can find us on social media. We're at Billowing Hilltop on pretty much everything. You can email us at hello@billowinghilltop.com. We actually read the emails.
If it works.
We read some of them out if you let us. That, I think, is it. All that remains is for us to go over to Lucas, who's looking very nervous, who will deliver a prepared statement under duress to kick off our story. So let us push on with episode 1 of Outlaws of Alkenstar. Another opening, another show. Thank you.
Let me welcome you to Alkenstar, before someone else does. Here, they are as likely to pick your pocket or rob you at gunpoint as point you in the direction of a friendly tavern. Alkenstar is a crowded, bustling little city. Wreathed in choking smog, it sits at the heart of the Southern Blight. It is a place of industry, innovation, and intrigue. Beneath the towering gaze of brass spires and stone fortresses, amid a tangle of oil-slick streets and soot-stained alleys, human inventors and their clockwork creations walk beside mutated gnoll scavengers, masked zealots of Tonge, the gutter dwellers of Smokeside, and the toweringly bewigged aristocrats of Skyside. Many spend their days toiling without respite in grimy workshops or smoky factories. Others patrol the cobblestone streets for their fortunes, one hand firmly on their pistols, ready to confront a rival gang or fugitive outlaw. A select few live a life without want, their coffers ever filling with the profits of enterprise. Industrial enterprise. New factories shoot up like saplings in spring, bringing opportunity, drudgery, resentment, and most of all, wealth. Wealth that spreads its toxic tendrils through the city. Wealth that poisons the politics. Wealth that corrupts the constabulary. Wealth that covets the crown. And all the while, the pistons, gears and cogs of the mills, manufactories and workshops turn, for the time being, as steadily as the hands of a clock, maintaining the mechanical rhythm of a settlement that never truly sleeps. Let us take a turn by the riverside. Let us find a welcoming hostelry. Here seems as good as any. And let us begin our adventure.
Okay, we're off.
To see the wizard.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful wizard of Dunge. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening. It's a good song, mate.
Hello, readers. If you're new to us, you are now a reader. We'll get into the detail of why you're a reader later, but it's very nice to have you with us. You've probably joined us because you've done a search or something and you're interested in Pathfinder 2. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of episodes of us playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, playing an old Paizo adventure path called the Age of Worms. But if you are interested in Pathfinder, then that's what we're going to be doing, but not very well. Yeah, there's some of the comments some of the comments I've read. One guy commented on our old D&D stuff, and he's like, "Well, who are these guys? They're just, they're just doing it for a laugh."
They're
not particularly proficient. And I was sort of digging through the Reddit cesspool, and there's quite a lot of people who are like, when I listen to an actual play podcast, I want to hear people who really know what they're doing. I want to hear people who are, character optimizers. They really understand the rules, the systems, the tactical nuances, and you just think, okay,
that's not us.
That's not us.
That's why we struggle to get more than 3 readers.
We do.
We're no good at it.
We survived the Age of Worms.
If I was running a YouTube channel or something, for like Keepy Uppy, football Keepy Uppy, and then like me doing it, where I can't even keep it. Do you know what I mean? Can't keepy. I definitely can't.
We know what we do,
and it is just shambolic.
We just can't remember stuff.
Johnny,
I think story-wise and adventure-wise, we sort of know what we're doing, although we can't remember any of it. But
you can't remember anything.
No, anything. But when it comes to rules, I could tell you, about 3rd edition and 3.5, and maybe 1st edition Pathfinder or playtest.
Yeah.
I could remember.
Everything
I can remember
area,
a lot of those rules, but anything after, 4th edition.
I got a feeling we're going to be doing a lot of confusedness between our memory of 3.5 Pathfinder. I just think we're going to use the wrong words all the time.
Yeah.
But we have played
2E.
Got some good news and some bad news. We have played some 2nd edition Pathfinder before, readers.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only problem is that the person who has GM'd those sessions is Graham. And Graham has not turned up. Lucas hasn't turned up, but Lucas never turns up. He's off in Switzerland.
He's on a jet plane, isn't he?
Voting about rifles or hiding in a fallout shelter or something, blowing down a giant horn in his leather jodhpurs, whatever it is that they wear.
Jodhpurs.
But Graham is late, but he will be here, and when he's here, we can break the bad news to him, which is that he is equally going to be GMing this adventure.
Is he? Oh, because he knows the rules. I see. Yeah.
Because he knows the rules, so we're going to have to defer. I mean, we always defer to Graham about rules anyway, so
this is true.
No difference. If he says something works in a particular way, we go, okay.
Yeah, that's Graham. We'll just believe him.
But sitting around the table with me, readers, are the usual gang. Well, 3 of the usual gang. And we've got Paul, lovely Paul, who you may or may not have, I'm guessing, may not have heard GMing some Shadow Dark.
Oh no way, not yet.
Because he won't have done it yet.
No.
And we've also got Dan, who you may, and again, I'm guessing not, may not have heard GMing some Twilight 2000. And then we have the, frankly, rather attractive figure
Radiant.
of Radiant.
Glowing.
Johnny.
Hello.
We're going to be playing Pathfinder Second Edition. We are going to be playing an adventure path from Paizo called Outlaws of Alkenstar. But we are... I've made a decision which I now deeply regret.
Already? We haven't even started. Surely you can undo the...
No, the whole thing is no. It's too late. We're going to do this.
Okay.
But there are challenges. First of all, Alkenstar. Okay? It's a city in the Paizo, Galarian, whatever. Right, we're not going to set it in Galarian, which is actually turns out to be a fortunate thing, because the way that Alkenstar is supported amongst Paizo's materials is just completely confusing and shambolic. There are threads, again on Reddit, my favourite place, titled things like, "What on earth is going on with Alkenstar?" Or "Why does Alkenstar not make any sense?" Those kinds of threads. The map doesn't add up. The directions don't go the right way, which is perfect for me, as you know. You know how much I love my cardinal points.
You're very good at them.
We're going to set it in the world of Hearth, which is a very poorly detailed world in which we set our successful attempt, I would say, at the Age of Worms. So
what's
there's
the
a map
date?
of that, which that I can tell you. As soon as I've looked up my notes, which I've lost. No, I haven't lost them. I have them here. It is Thump Day, the 4th of Jule.
Oh.
Yeah.
In what year?
In the 636th year of the Broken Staff. That is 41 years after the events of the Age of Worms.
Okay.
The fortunes of the Slayers are Age of Worms characters. Well, we'll get into that. Some of them may still be around. Some of them may have prospered. Some of them may have dwindled. Tonight's beer, by the way, Paul.
Yes.
It's my favourite beer. Sonoma Pale Ale from the Track Brewery in Manchester.
Nice.
Just as it's fitting for the start of a new journey.
This evening I am drinking fizzy water.
Fizzy London
Sparkling
tap water?
No, I've treated myself to Marks and Spencer's sparkling.
Nothing but the best for the debut show.
Nothing but the best. Yes.
Yeah, so the mistakes I've made, obviously, is doing this in the first place. And then also, compounded with that, we're dropping the Cowboys. Not a euphemism. The whole yee-haw banjo business.
So it was like
going.
It was like a steampunk cowboy originally, Alkenstar.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that really works for us. Because I don't think we do steampunk. I don't mind a musket. I'm a fan of a musket. I'm a fan of a flintlock pistol. I'm a big fan of a tricorn hat.
Well, we know. I mean,
but
when we meet you at the pub, that's how
exactly.
you come.
Right, that's what I'm wearing now. For example, I'm just wearing a tricorn hat and some giant buckled shoes and nothing else. So instead, we're going to kind of go musketeers-y, maybe a little bit later. Less rebel yell, more rebel knell. Hey?
Very good.
I've got a list of things that I thought I would say out loud to give you an idea. For example, there'll be dueling. There will be wigs.
Oh, good. Powdered wigs.
I have notes about wigs and the different types of wigs. We can talk about that later. There will be things called routs, which are like parties. There will be carriages. There will be gin palaces. There will be coffee shops. There will be tricon hats. There will be chickens. Every single movie set in this era involved the almost constant clucking of chickens as characters walk around.
Yeah.
There will be punch. There will be celery. There will be claret.
Will there be people shouting huzzah?
I think we should definitely have... Well, okay.
That's more at sea, though, isn't it, huzzah?
Well, yes, but Paul's right, because the bottom line here is that shamelessly...
Aubrey Maturin.
The Aubrey Maturin series of novels by Patrick O'Brien, I mean, we're probably tapping into those vibes. A word I suspect that Patrick O'Brien didn't use very often.
No.
So that's the kind of feel. That's what we're going to do. I'm stalling because we've got no Graham.
Hello.
It's Graham.
Graham. Oh, thank God for that. Okay. Late as usual. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, we can get on with things. This is a session 0. I've put you on a new map. Can you see the new map?
Well, I can see Alkenstar. Is that what you're
It's the map of Alkenstar. We won't get into too much detail. You may find that some of the names of places that you found in the player's guide
have changed.
Have changed in order to fit our new feel. Some stuff has been added. We'll get into that.
Okay.
So we're introducing our characters. So
Well,
I have a backstory.
we are gonna do that. Well, it's up to you about how much backstory you want to discuss. But let me kick us off.
I can
with
just read it out.
No, you can't.
Yes, I'm going to read it out.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll just edit it out. Gone. There'll just be a space.
I'll put it back in somehow.
No, you can. I am very much looking forward to hearing your backstory, but we're going to put it in a little bit of context. First of all, if you've read the Outlaws of Alkenstar Player's Guide, you'll know that the characters have been summoned by someone called Phoebe Dunsmith to her establishment.
Dunsmith Rooms.
Yes, Dunsmith's Rooms. Dunsmith's Rooms sits within an area called the Liberties, which is on your map. That is an area of Alkenstar that is governed under sufferance, as it were, of the Grand Duchess Trietaricia, who is the monarch of Alkenstar. It is governed by the dwarves of Dongenhold. So Dongenhold is nearby. It's a great dwarven fortress, a set of forges and workshops that the technological economy of Alkenstar is inextricably intertwined with. They are codependent, and the free flowing of goods and components and technologies and so forth between Dongenhold and Alkenstar is part of the lifeblood of the city. As a result, there is an area of wharves in the smoke side part of the city. Alkenstar is divided into two broad sections: smoke side, poor people, workshops; sky side, rich people, extremely expensive hosiery and enormous wigs. On the riverfront of the Ossuary River, which bisects the city.
Looks like
Rotherhithe.
It's the bend in the river at Rotherhithe. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
The River Thames.
Again, our American readers may struggle with that one, but it's a bend in the river. Think of the East. No, you won't watch EastEnders, so you don't understand. Anyway, there's a river. It snakes through the city.
Right.
The governor of the Liberties is called the Chief Comptroller, a six-braided dwarf. The fewer braids you have, the more senior you are as a dwarf. Their deity is, of course, the Unibraid. He is a six-braided dwarf called Zonzimuth Crav. In the Liberties, the writ of the Grand Duchess does not run. All of our characters are outlaws for one reason or another, and we're going to get into that in a minute. They all have a reason to resent or to seek vengeance against a character called Sir Ambrose Mugland. We'll talk about that in a minute. As a result of them being outlaws, they are hiding out in the Liberties, where they cannot be grabbed by Alkenstar law enforcement. We'll get a little bit into the way that law enforcement works in Alkenstar a bit later, but suffice it to say, for the moment, you are untouchable as long as you stay within the boundary of the Liberties, which is only a few blocks. You've got to be careful. It's not lawless. Zonzimuth Crav and the Dongan dwarves must maintain some kind of civil relationship with the Alkenstar authorities. If you abuse their hospitality, you will be expelled.
Zonzimuth what?
What?
Say that. Zonzimuth who what?
Zonzimuth Crav. You are staying, lodging in little attics and dives and bedsits and whatever. It's just pathetic. Your pathetic little characters are eking out a frankly disgusting living. God knows the depravity, the stuff that you lot will sink to for just a meagre copper to keep yourself alive for another week. A lifeline has been extended to you by Phoebe Dunsmith, who runs Dunsmith's Rooms, a very popular establishment. For some reason, you've been identified as people of interest, and she has invited you to Dunsmith's Rooms to see a play and then to talk to her. Let me tell you about Dunsmith's Rooms. Dunsmith's Rooms is a sprawl of candlelit panelled chambers, split over levels and half levels, connected by a bewildering network of staircases. It's early evening. Staff beetle throughout, bearing drinks and platters, clandestine notes, gentle narcotics. The patrons lurch and clamber between snugs and salon and card rooms and dining rooms and withdrawing rooms. And at the apex, there is a great room lit by dim candelabra. It serves sometimes as a ballroom, sometimes as a recital room, and tonight a theatre, which is where we begin our adventure. Our assembled characters who we're about to meet are you're all perched on those tiny gilt chairs that you get, right? It's all a little bit, you're all sort of struggling and can't quite get yourself comfortable. The crowd is struggling to settle. Your view is obstructed by the giant wigs of the group in the row ahead. There is a scratchy chamber orchestra struggling to make their way through some sort of overture or scene setter. stagehands in the background are laying a scene. The play is called The Chancellor's Pistol, or Honour Settled at Dawn. Somebody is passing around a whisper sheet. A whisper sheet is like a single page news sheet, scandal sheet. There are several that are distributed throughout Alkenstar, and apparently there's a very poor review of this play, and people are laughing at the details of that. But while that is all going on, let us meet our characters. Let us go around the table and start with, on my left, Paul. Tell us about your character perched on a gilt chair.
Well, what we have here is a chap called Dane Dwalin Gudrun. He's human. He does have it's not a tricorn hat. What's it called when it's a
Bicorn?
Pointy hat? Bicorn hat and a wig.
Excellent. What kind of wig?
Well, I don't know quite. Well, it's white and curly, and it drapes down in each side of. It's like a centre parting.
Okay.
Draping down. Imagine lots of very curly hair with a centre parting that doesn't quite go below the jawline. Ridiculous. And what makes it more ridiculous, he has one hell of a nose.
Okay.
One
huge conch. Maybe we're talking about a hedgehog wig, a fashionable late Georgian style with short, tight curls all over, creating a slightly dishevelled look, often with longer curls at the back.
Yep.
Does that work?
Yep.
Lovely.
Yep. And contrasting the white wig, he's got kind of dark eyebrows and normally quite a serious look on his face. That's Dan Dwalin. How much do you want to know? I've got pages of
Let's go through the crunch. Pathfinder 2 is a crunchy game. I want to go through. Let's go through your character. Have you picked any archetypes?
He's a human gunslinger. That's basically the crunchy stuff. He's not very strong. He's quite short.
We should get into the numbers because
dexterous.
None of us are particularly confident with Pathfinder 2, apart from Graham. Graham, sorry, when you weren't here earlier, I was saying how you are going to be helping.
Oh, right. Good.
GM. Well, sort of co-GMing. But I think we should get into the crunch. Let's go through the abilities. What have you picked?
Abilities. Paul. Now, where do I find those? Are you talking about skills, or are you talking about...
No, talking about your strength.
Oh, right, okay.
So
the attributes. You mean attributes?
Attributes,
okay.
Attributes, sorry.
Yeah. So he's not very strong. +1 on strength, +4 dexterity.
Oh, +4. Okay. So
yeah. Well,
right, that's 18.
That's
18.
Yeah. He wants because he's a gunslinger. +3 constitution, wants to stay alive. +1 intelligence, which is more than me. +0 wisdom, again more than me, and +0 charisma, again more than me. So that's going to be quite tough to play those, punching above my weight.
Well, Dan is very charismatic, so he can step in when needed.
Thank you very much indeed.
And Lucas, if he ever makes it, he's been known to be mildly intelligent from time to time.
Once in a while.
And help you with those bits.
I think I've gone in for the kind of dex stuff. So the acrobatics, he's pretty...
These are the skills that you've
skills
you've
of acrobatics and thievery. He's got some half-decent engine.
So you're trained in... So let's talk about trained. Graham, you might have to help us here.
He is...
There are tiers of proficiency in
you're
skills.
adding your proficiency if you're trained.
There's trained, and then there's expert, and then something and something.
Yeah, you're not going to get
later.
Yet. Later.
Yeah, but expert, what does that mean? If you're expert as opposed to trained, what does that mean?
You get more of a
bigger bonus.
Yes.
Yeah, a bigger bonus. But also, aren't there things that you can't do? If you look under a skill, it'll say if you're trained, you can do this. But if you're expert...
Some of them will, yeah.
Yeah, you need to reach that point. I mean, I've got expert in some of the saving throw stuff, expert in fortitude, expert in reflex, and trained in well. He's trained in acrobatics, arcana, crafting, for some reason. Society, because I got the feeling that might be useful. Stealth, I like a sneaky character. Thievery, I like a sneaky character. And engineering law.
Leaning heavily into the setting. Did you pick an archetype?
No.
Is it an archetype?
I don't think I did pick an archetype. I didn't pick an archetype.
Don't you have to pick something to... Multi-classing is where I'm really heading with this.
Multi-classing.
Doesn't work in the same way. You pick a dedication, which is a feat. Have I got this right, Graham?
Yep.
And that dedication effectively unlocks class features of a different class.
That's right.
That allow you, as you progress, you can pick your feats and...
wait a minute.
I don't know, other things, skills and stuff from that other class. So you're not really a multi-class in that... I've
got something, adopted ancestry. It's called adopted ancestry.
That shouldn't make any difference.
That's an ancestry.
Under your class, you should have something. Do you not pick
a type of gunslinger?
I've just picked a human gunslinger.
Is there not a type?
Class
Okay,
feature.
well, we'll worry about whether or not there is something that you haven't picked later.
There's lots. No, I'm straight up gunslinger.
Straight up.
Right. I think I was just
Are
like
there variants on the gunslinger? You know,
quite probably.
sort of
I think when I was looking at it, I went, I want to keep this a bit simple, like me. Otherwise,
why are you an outlaw?
Why am I an outlaw? Is that where we're going there yet? You want to go there?
Well, yeah, I think the idea is that this is very clumsy, readers, sorry, but hey, we have no idea what we're doing. The idea is that you've all been invited by Dunsmith to this performance with the promise of an interesting proposition, piece of work, something like that. In terms of background, you may have an essay that you've written. You're welcome to read it out, but think about it in terms of your character introducing themselves to the others.
Yeah. The reason I'm here is because I've got a bounty on my head. Ambrose Mugland is after me. I used to work for Ambrose. I was part...
Sir Ambrose to you.
As what? What did you do for him?
I was part of his drug smuggling crew, and...
It's an allegation that's never been proven.
I used to help transport it. I found that actually one of his, I think you could say captains, I found out he'd been cutting the calamanthus and been selling it on the side, and I stumbled across this.
And stepping on it, like doctoring it with
Like crap.
Okay, so diluting the product.
Diluting the product, selling it, and then he caught me having caught him, and he got to Ambrose before me, and then accused me of stuff, turned me rather than admitting it was himself before I could get to Ambrose. And he was higher up the chain anyway. I'm just a low level person. So that's why
So you're not in trouble with the law per
No.
se, you're in trouble with the Mugland.
Yes.
Okay, so this is something we're learning about Sir Ambrose Mugland. He's got a bit of a narcotics trafficking game going on.
Bit of a narcotic.
And you're in trouble with his heavies. Okay.
They're
so
after
you're
me
on the
because
right-
they think that I was a loyal...
All very blue lights.
I was a loyal soldier to them, but I stumbled across something, and now I'm paying the price. There you go.
Okay. Oh, and you've got a name that makes you sound like you're a dwarf, but you aren't.
Well, I'm half dwarf, half human.
Is that
a thing?
Is that a thing? Is that relevant to your character in any
Well, there is family background.
mechanical way?
There is some mechanical stuff going on. My speed is slower. I'm smaller, but things like +2 on con, +2 on strength. I've got dark vision.
Okay.
And I've got...
So you are a dwarf.
I'm half dwarf. I've also strangely got black eyes. Black eyes and a huge nose.
Well, what about your character?
Yeah.
Oh, and very bushy eyebrows, which I waggle.
Again, the eyebrow wagglers are back.
Well, that's enough of Paul. That didn't go that well, I thought. Next,
fuck you.
going around the table. We're saving Johnny till last because Johnny's best.
I can go next and read my
I can hear Johnny's
history out.
Vibrating.
Do you want to jump in, Johnny?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, well, you can't read your history straight away. You've got to tell us about your character.
No,
I'd
like to read my history and then tell you about my character.
All right.
I'm going to step away and get a beer. while you do that.
All right. I'm stepping out.
Yeah, I'm stepping away to go.
Well, you're going to have to listen to it later.
Yeah, we'll be back, Jenny. How long do you need?
I'm just doing that thing where
gonna go
I'm
make a
standing
cup
in the
of tea.
doorway, just leaving my aura in the doorway. I can't quite leave my
Are you
finger
listening?
pointing around the
Or
corner.
you're not listening? Right.
No, we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay, read it well.
Are you ready?
Are we
Are we all
sitting
sitting
comfortably?
Are we all sitting comfortably?
Sure.
Sagbo the slightly inefficient entered the world with no parents, no name, and, according to the monks, no particular promise. He was raised in the Temple of the Headless Foes, a fortress monastery carved into the wind-scoured cliffs of the Knoll Mountains. The monks taught discipline, austerity, and the unsettling doctrine that identity is the clearest when something vital is missing. Presiding over the temple was not a man but a simulacrum, a frost-pale echo of the legendary Uncle Buggy. The real Buggy had died several years before, entombed in some forgotten planar vault, alongside his Vorpal great axe and his philosophical companion Cheeseman. The simulacrum retained only fragments of Buggy's memories, but it raised Sagbo with a strange mixture of stern martial training and half-remembered wisdom. Sometimes, in the quiet hours before dawn, the simulacrum would mutter Cheeseman's aphorisms, cryptic lines about fate, absurdity, the inevitability of conflict, and the benefits of cheese. Sagbo absorbed them all, even when he didn't understand them. When Sagbo came of age, he left the temple with little more than a pack, a sharp mind and the determination to prove he was more than a temple oddity. He travelled to Evenstar, a city of marble towers and mercantile ambition, where fortunes rose and fell with the turning of a coin. Sagbo's rise was swift. He possessed a rare instinct of reading people, an ability honed in the temple's silent halls, and a relentless drive to succeed. With cunning, charm, and a willingness to take risks that others feared, he built a trading house that soon rivaled older, more established firms. But to become a real force, he needed investment. Enter Sir Ambrose Mugland, a knight merchant with impeccable manners and a smile that never reached his eyes. Mugland was looking to expand his reach from his native Alkenstar, and suggested a partnership with Sagbo as a way of building up his operations in Evenstar. Sagbo jumped at the opportunity. Mugland's capital and Sagbo's Gaul proved a formidable combination. Together they negotiated lucrative contracts and amassed a fortune that made Evenstar's elite take notice. Sagbo believed he had not just found a partner but a friend. He was wrong. The fall came without warning. One morning, Sagbo awoke to find his accounts frozen, his warehouse seized, and his name plastered across Evenstar's broadsheets as a fraud and embezzler. Mugland had orchestrated everything, diverting funds, forging documents, and using his political connections to ensure that accusations stuck. Clients who once toasted Sagbo's success now demanded his blood. Hired blades prowled the streets. The Evenstar Watch issued a warrant, and Mugland, ever the gentleman, expressed public sorrow at his partner's tragic moral collapse. Sagbo fled Evenstar in the covered darkness, slipping through alleyways and bribing the gate guards with the last coins he possessed. Behind him, the trading empire he had built was absorbed piece by piece into Mugland's expanding dominion. The humiliation burned deeper than the loss of wealth. Mugland had taken everything Sagbo valued, his reputation, his future, and the belief that he could trust another soul. Sagbo arrived in Alkenstar, a city of smoke-choked foundries and clockwork marvels, with nothing but a threadbare cloak and a vow carved into his heart. He rented a cramped dormer room in the Old Crow, a riverside inn where the walls were thin and the air was cheaper than water. Here, hiding amongst the smugglers and other desperate souls, Sagbo began to turn his mind to achieving his new burning ambition: revenge. Not murder, not bloodshed, something colder. Mugland had taken Sagbo's fortune. Sagbo would take Mugland's. He would reduce the night merchant to the same destitution he had inflicted, strip him of his wealth, reputation and power until he stood alone in the ruins of his own making. How Sagbo would achieve this remains unwritten, but in the dim light of his rented room he waits patiently for an opportunity to strike. And somewhere in Evenstar, Sir Ambrose Mugland sleeps soundly, unaware that the man he betrayed is coming for him, not with rage but with patience, the kind of patience only taught in the Temple of Headless Foes.
Very nice.
So very nice.
Anyway, Sagbo...
Wonderful in two ways. Wonderful because it's a great story, and wonderful because you're sitting there chatting to these people in the front row of second row of this little theatre, and rather than just introduce yourself to them,
you bring out this parchment and start
launch
reading.
into this third person thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how the others react to that, but yeah, fantastic.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he talks about himself in the third person all the time.
Brought someone along to sort of narrate his life.
Yeah. So he looks like Terry Thomas.
He looks like Terry Thomas
with a stovepipe hat.
Okay.
And so he's got one of those moustaches
and a gap in his teeth.
Yes. Yes, it's
got this slightly odd cartoon where he's running off in the middle of a medieval
combat
town, holding a sword in one hand and a chicken in the other. So his attributes, I have to say, I think we were talking about this earlier, Pathfinder's a bit impenetrable in terms of rolling up a new character, I think. Anyway, I've used Nexus, what's it called?
Demiplane.
Readers, we use something called Pathfinder Nexus, which is under Demiplane.
The attributes are pretty spread out as normal. His dexterity's +4 and his charisma's a bit higher than normal, +2.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing leather armour, he's got a rapier in each hand.
What class is he?
And he is a rogue. He's hanging out with thieves.
So his background is a wronged businessman, a wronged entrepreneur, but since he's been hanging out with the lowlives in the liberties of Alkenstar, he's started to pick up on thievery and... Okay.
Yeah, I mean, his background's a merchant, so, he started with nothing, he was brought up in this temple, became very successful, so he's very ambitious, he's driven, then he got, back to the beginning, back to nothing, and now he's absolutely out for revenge.
He started out with nothing, and he's still got most of it left.
Yeah. That's
take us through skills quickly. Where have you concentrated your skillishness?
My skills, I've got good at lying.
What's that? Deception?
Deception. I think there's a skill called lie. What's it called?
Deception.
No, it's I can't find the.
There is one called lie under the untrained skill action.
Okay.
It's a rogue
so
thing.
You can tell readers
tumbling.
We're so over this.
Sorry, it's a
tumbling.
Thief. So he can tumble through his opponents to get to the other side and then stab them in the back.
Is that a feat or is that a skill?
I tried to get my way around this character sheet.
I'm guessing it's a feat.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, we'll all get used to it. Readers, you'll get used to us not being able to find stuff.
Oh, feats and features. Here we go. Right, he's got natural ambition. He's a trap finder. He's a merchant with a bargain hunting skill. He can do sneak attack as per usual rogue things. He does surprise attack, tumble behind, and lie to me.
Lie to me is a feat. Okay. And then in terms of skills,
skills are just standard.
He's loaded acrobatics, he's loaded deception, he's loaded diplomacy. I'm just reading through
the thing with which I found a bit odd is you can't enhance things more than once as a first level. So I could have stacked up acrobatics or deception, but I couldn't.
We used to old Pathfinder. I think the way that Pathfinder 2 is worked out, you can't do that min-maxy thing.
Yeah.
And try and build a sort of super specialist.
The attributes, you didn't have like 25 points to assign. You just picked human as your ancestry, picked this skill, picked that, and then it populates it for you. So I've just got this quite even spread of things rather than maxing out the usual constitution to get more hit points, dexterity to get more, whatever.
So we've got a human gunslinger, well, a half-human, half-dwarven gunslinger, and we've got a human rogue. Act 1 kicks off.
Maybe it's like Elf. Maybe he's actually just human, but he thinks he's a dwarf.
Yeah, that's exactly like Buggy.
Yeah, like Buggy thought he was a dwarf.
He's quite a short human, therefore he thinks he's quite a tall dwarf.
Yeah, the play starts. Act 1 is called A Slight at Supper. There's a fashionable dinner in Coppergate. Chancellor Barrow takes mortal offence at a careless remark from Captain Halveth concerning the honour of Lady Aurelia. It's not much to write home about. Act 2, on we lurch. Whispers in the corridor. The actors do the thing with the stance and the roar. They are massively bewigged. Whispers in the corridor is Act 2. Rumours spread through court. There's a secret letter that suggests a quarrel may hide a political intrigue involving a disputed contract for black powder supplies. The audience is restless, shifting in their seats. This room is stiflingly hot at this time of year. Pistols and preparations is the Act 3. Seconds are chosen. Pistols are inspected. The duel is arranged for dawn. And then there is a merciful interval, at which point, looking around the table from my left to my right, let us go to my favourite player of D&D and all other games. In fact, my favourite person. Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character?
My character is Big Mo. She's an elven madam, or she was. She used to have a brothel. She has a background as a fortune teller, so she used to, while the clientele were waiting, to choose their lady of the night, she would read the tarot
we use, but
while they were waiting, and it was all a bit kind of crap, and people kind of thought it was a bit of fun. But one night, one of her girls got gruesomely killed by one of the clients, one Edwin Mugland, who is son of Ambrose Mugland. He got kind of whisked away, and she wasn't going to sort of do it. She was just going to clean up. She knows kind of what's what in the city. But Ambrose Mugland sent some guys to kind of clean up the mess, as it were. And she escaped because actually, while she's a fake fortune teller, she is actually a witch. And she used her abilities to escape the crew that was sent to kill her, and obviously fled into the city.
Yes.
So she has a beef in that way.
So she's on the run from the law, or just on the run?
She's on the run from the law because she was having failed to kill her, she got framed for the murder. And actually, Ambrose Mugland took over the brothel. He saw a business opportunity and basically kind of seized it.
Right.
She got framed for 2 murders, one for the girl and one for one of the assassins that was sent to kill her. Who she took out when she escaped.
Got it. Tell us about this assassin. Is this just one of
his goons? Yeah, he sent
goons.
He sent a couple of goons to clean up the mess, as it were.
I think it's well known that Mugland spends money to buy the loyalty of certain members of what are called the Rifle Street Runners, who are Alkenstar's domestic police force, criminal investigative whatever. But it's sounding like from, what's he called again, Paul? Dwayne Eddy?
Dan Dwalin Godron.
From his story and from Big Mo's story, that Mugland's also got heavies. He's got a organised crime string to his bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was wondering if it might be the law, it might be Sheriff but you can...
Well, so there is a Sergeant Angelique Lovelace of the Rifle Street Runners, and she is notoriously known to be in the pocket of Mugland.
Yeah.
She's a kind of Dudley... Is he Dudley Smith?
Dudley Smith, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, in the James Ellroy novels. So she runs her own kind of racket. She's got her own squad of detectives.
Right.
But she's certainly in the pocket of Mugland. That seems to be the general sense.
So maybe it was her with a couple of her men, but probably she can have a beef with Big Mo as well at the same time, maybe.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the mechanics of Big Mo.
Big Mo is a witch. She has the elf ancestry. She's an ancient elf, and she took the alchemist dedication. So she can create healing potions.
Yes. I was going to come to that.
Because we don't have much healing, I thought I will take the alchemist dedication so she has a bit of healing. Not much.
Very good.
Yeah.
She also has a background as a fortune teller, which gives her oddity identification, so she can tell if a magical effect or a spell being cast twists minds, fights against fortune, or reveals secrets. Most interestingly, I think her patron... I was trying to find it and I can't remember what it's called. It's called the Written One or something. It basically, I can't remember, but it'll come back to me at some point.
Yeah.
But she has a familiar. Nobody ever sees the familiar. She has an eagle familiar, which has the construct trait.
Like an automata, you mean?
It's like a mechanical eagle.
Oh, like Professor Yaffle.
A bit like Professor Yaffle.
Like a Sinbad.
But it has kind of flowing script all over it. I don't know how much you know about witches, but witches cast spells through their familiars.
Right.
But she can also hide the familiar. She has a spell called Pet Cash. So she can basically...
Pet Cash?
Pet Cash.
Oh, okay.
Not the tennis player. She can hide her familiar in a pocket dimension. So most of the time it's kind of out of sight.
Like a tennis ball and some shorts.
Less bulgy.
That's my nickname at school.
She's trained in acrobatics, arcana, crafting, deception, intimidation, medicine, nature, occultism, stealth, survival, and fortune-telling lore.
You know, the whole healing thing, I don't think any of our players have picked a dedicated healer cleric type character.
Which is going to be interesting.
Which is going to be interesting, but we'll work our way around it, because I think we should I personally would encourage that. There's this treat wounds business. One thing I've definitely never quite got my head around, Graham is going to have to help us with this, is the whole getting nastily injured, having to be healed up, but treat wounds and all of that stuff. Is anybody picking whatever feats or skills are to do with that? Battle, medicine?
I'm trained in medicine.
You're trained in medicine. And that allows you to... Right, okay, good. So that's Big Mo.
That's Big Mo.
Nice.
Act 4 begins. It's called the Lady's Intervention. Lady Aurelia attempts to halt the duel, revealing that the supposed insult arose from a misunderstanding and perhaps a forged note. And then there's Act 5, Honour at Dawn. The duel proceeds regardless. A shot is fired. Reputations collapse. The truth of the intrigue emerges too late to prevent scandal. There's a sort of smattering of rather exhausted applause. As that applause dies down, Graham, why don't you talk to us about your character?
Well, okay,
please.
My character is farts loudly.
You have to bring the tone down. Always have to bring the tone down.
Yep. Who is a Colo or Knoll swashbuckler.
He's a Knoll. He's Knoll. He's a Knoll.
He's a Knoll.
He's a Knoll.
He's not Noel Edmonds.
Not Noel Edmonds.
He's not Noel Fielding.
No.
Okay. Is he the first Knoll?
Actually, he's the third.
And do you have a background that you're going to read out like Johnny? You're going to do it in your special best background readout voice?
Newsreader voice, yes.
Well, Johnny has set the pattern here.
He did such a good job. I thought I would have a go.
Okay. Well, let's hear it. Off you go.
Picture the scene. An old pup scrounging in the grimy alleys of Alkenstar, the city of gears and steam, with its cacophony of industry. The pup is Farts, and this was his harsh cradle. He learned early on that survival meant quick wits and quicker hands, honing his thieving skills on the unsuspecting citizens and shopkeepers of the Brass City. Now we see a small time criminal, a shadow flitting through the ever-present smog, driven by an empty belly and a yearning for something more than the next stolen meal. The scene changes again. A thundery night, a factory boiler exploding, showering the young Farts' hovel with scalding steam and debris. Amidst the chaos and cries, a cloaked figure, moving with an almost unnatural silence, pulled him from the wreckage. This was a recruiter for the Silent Night, a clandestine society led by the enigmatic Mother Stillness. They promised a world free from the deafening roar of Alkenstar's relentless machinery, a return to a simpler, quieter existence. Farts, already resentful of the city's ceaseless noise and pollution, found their Luddite philosophy resonating deeply within him. He was transformed, radicalized, trading his petty criminal ambitions for a cause he believed in. Under the tutelage of Mother Stillness, his street smarts were sharpened, his agility honed, his innate gnoll ferocity channeled into a new purpose. He became a swashbuckler, a saboteur by night, expertly disabling steam engines, jamming factory gears, and silencing the clatter of Alkenstar's production lines. By day he maintained his cover as a street hustler, his charismatic bark and sly smile, drawing in his marks while his other hand subtly gathered intelligence and planted seeds of dissent. Years pass. Farts dances on the razor's edge of his double life, a phantom of the Silent Night, waging a war against noise. But then came the mission that went horribly wrong. A critical target, a seemingly simple sabotage of a new experimental steam cannon turned into a deadly ambush. Farts' team was scattered, and he narrowly escaped, leaving behind not just his cover, but the trust of the Silent Night. Now branded a fugitive by Alkenstar, Farts is on the run, a gnoll with no pack, haunted by the echoing silence of his past, and the constant hum of the city that refuses to be quieted. Can he revenge himself on Sir Ambrose Mugland and retain the trust of Mother Stillness?
Very nice.
That's brilliant.
There is a symbol for that your faction. I'll post that in our socials, readers.
It's a broken cog with a candle within it. Easy to paint with a single brush.
Easy to quickly daub on the wall of a workshop that you've sabotaged, or a machine that you've... Yeah. So Luddites. We're talking about
Luddites. Yeah. Anyone that's read the Joe Abercrombie latest series, The Wisdom of Crowds, and the books that go with that, he's like a breaker or a burner.
Yeah. 18th or 19th
century history.
Yep. Yeah. Should we go through a bit of crunch? So what class are you?
I'm a swashbuckler. I've also, like pretty much everyone we've heard so far this evening, big on dexterity, reasonable constitution, intelligence a bit, and charisma. In terms of skills, I also have the similar sort of spread. Acrobatics.
Which ones have you really loaded?
Acrobatics.
Yeah.
Athletics, stealth, thievery, underworld lore, and Alkenstar lore. So he knows the
Alkenstar lore, yes,
and underworld lore. So he knows the back streets and how to get around in Alkenstar and not be seen.
Useful. I think people have all leaned into this profile. Maybe not so much Big Mo, but there's an awful lot of deception, stealth, thievery going on, which is great. You haven't picked a dedication or anything like that?
I have, yes.
You have?
I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's Dirty Fighter. Something like that.
Dirty?
I'll have to find it.
Is it dirty? Is that a subclass of
Yeah, it's a
sort Excellent. And in terms of we haven't really got into this. We did look at it briefly with Johnny, but a rapier?
Rapier, hand crossbow, because obviously firearms are bad news, loud and distracting.
Interesting.
Which is quite good for Farts because he's
very good for Farts.
He's nimble and moves across the battlefield with great gusto.
Tell me about Swashbuckler. The Witch is a an arcane spellcaster subclass, whatever.
It's a core class. It's in player core.
It's a core class, but I'm just thinking in terms of the familiarity of the readers and us.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to sort of place all of these things. I think we understand what the witch broadly is. There was a witch in Pathfinder 1. The rogue we understand. The gunslinger, let's get back to in a moment. The swashbuckler, it's not a subclass.
No,
it stands up itself, and it's got a particular mechanic, has it not?
It has the panache mechanic.
That's what I was fishing for. The panache mechanic. Tell us about that.
So when you act with panache, you get to do your special tricks or your abilities.
Right.
And you get that by doing daring deeds, basically.
Okay, so you have to do stuff that's adventurous, dramatic, risky, whatever. Okay, and then somehow how does that
then
work?
allows you to power your finishing abilities and some of your other abilities.
Okay. So do you have to say finishing is a lot?
Aha, yes.
Finishing is like the final kind of flourish.
The final flourish, yeah.
Got it.
And you get feats with bravado in them. If a feat has bravado listed in it, you can act with panache.
So, gunslingers.
Yeah.
How much do you know about the rules around firearms?
No, not really.
Okay, great. Okay.
Well,
nor do I.
We'll find out.
I think
as we go.
I've run a gunslinger in Pathfinder 1.
Yes.
I've run a gunslinger in Pathfinder 2. It just died.
Yes.
Very early on. That was in the Abomination Vaults. Now I've got a rogue.
Big Mo is very squishy.
Big Mo is very squishy.
She's like,
big and squishy.
Literally and figuratively. So she's...
How many hit points has she got?
She has 13 hit points.
13.
Armor class 15.
Pathfinder's pretty generous with hit points, right? Yeah. Sagbo, how many hit points has Sagbo got?
I have 17 hit points.
And Farts Loudly
has 22 of the hit points.
22. And Dwayne Dingle, whatever he's called.
19.
Okay. Our understanding, readers, is that Lucas, if he should ever turn up, is thinking of running a character class called an Inventor, which is a perfect kind of fit for Lucas, but does mean that we don't have a dedicated, as we were touching on earlier, does mean we don't have a dedicated healer. That is something we're going to have to think about.
Or spellcaster, sorcerer, or wizard.
Big Mo casts arcane spells.
She do weird spells.
Arcane spells.
We don't have a tank.
You mean frontline fighter?
Yeah.
That's got to be Farts Loudly, surely.
No,
well,
he's
swashbuckler. Swashbucklers leap about and go, aha, and swing the chandeliers.
Who's going at the front?
You are.
I'm thinking, yeah.
I'm not going at the front.
That seems to be the natural
your role.
conclusion. We have a spellcaster, we have a witch. Obviously not the witch. We're going to have an inventor. I suspect that character probably won't even be present most of the time. They'll be back at base coming up with gizmos. Yeah?
Yeah.
You've got a gunslinger. I mean, it's in the name of the character class. He's not going to be running around holding it by the barrel and hitting people on the head with the stock.
To be fair, one of his class feats is sword and pistol. He does actually dual wield.
You really do walk into these things, don't you, Paul?
I know, yeah. Well,
you're at the front then.
Well, what's your armour class, Jules?
Never you mind.
No, it's a bit early to get into it.
What's your armour class?
Never you mind.
I'm wearing leather armour.
This is going well.
So am I.
Okay, so your armour classes are both not great.
Okay, but you got 2 more hit points, which puts you at the front.
Graham, what's your armour class?
I'm also wearing leather armour. I think we probably all have the same armour class because everyone has...
I think we might be replacing characters rather quickly, but let's see how we go.
No, I don't know about that.
Well, we've got a dilemma because we haven't got anybody who's going to go at the front.
No, you don't.
So we'll have to be behind each other.
At the front, because this is not a dungeon crawl. Well, not yet, anyway. It is an urban adventure and stuff.
Intrigue.
Yeah.
Daring do.
When we were doing Age of Worms, as we discussed at length in a previous recording, we ran the adventure as presented. I did chop some bits out and then added stuff in, and the stuff that we added in really worked around stuff to support some of the ideas we were coming up with around the characters. Well, in this, I think we should do more of that. So, I'm going to run the Outlaws of Alkenstar adventure path as it's written. That's a framework, but I think we will develop more story and try and support some of the elements that you chaps have just been through around your characters, like why you have a grudge against Mugland, what about Alkenstar has been implied by your backstories, because all of this stuff is not completely new to me, but it's not in the adventure, so we will build out Alkenstar. For example, as written, Ambrose Mugland doesn't have a narcotics interest, but now he does. As written, Ambrose Mugland isn't trying to empire build or to sort of undercut or betray business partners in other cities. Well, now he is. He didn't have a son, but now he does. This is all exactly what I think we should do. We can mutually agree things that are now canon that will then help our story go on. But before we get into all of that, I'm tempted to read you some of the review of the play, but I won't. At the end of the play, a dwarf steps forward in front of the players as they're taking the reluctant applause.
Daddy!
A real dwarf.
She
Mummy
is Phoebe Gunsmith, who is the proprietor of the establishment. Gents. No, I know, quieten down. I know it wasn't the best. Next week will be better. Wait, you. There's some kind of rowdy chap at the back complaining. Get out of my pub. Gin is at 2 shillings for the next hour. Ladies and gentlemen, you can feed yourselves if you feel the need for whittles. We have a lovely chop that will fill your stomach. Now, and she sort of looks over the audience, all of you sort of cramped up on these little chairs, and she picks you lot out and she kind of nods and she says, you gentlemen, and madam, if you would be so kind as to follow me, I think we should have a little discussion. And she gestures you to follow her. She beckons you through a door that's set into the wooden panelling behind the performance area.
Hopefully it's quite a wide door.
Yeah, you go down a service staircase.
While she's sitting on those gold chairs, she's all buttock. Is Big Mo.
Who, Mo?
Yeah.
Yes, I can make 2 chairs.
Yeah.
One for
2
each.
chairs, yeah. She's as wide as she is tall.
Like a ship under full sail as she heads down this staircase. A service staircase through a stifling kitchen, where despite the fact that it's a very warm June night with the promise of thunder in the air, the hearth is at full blaze with kitchen boys turning spits. The hearth spirit dancing. She offers you whittles. Can I suggest you to a whittle? Would you like a chop? We have cheese and bread. You, boy, bring these people some cold ales to slake their thirst, and then follow me. And she takes you through the kitchen into a chamber at the back. There's a set of kitchen chairs around a low table, candles burning, no windows, still stiflingly hot. Now then, settle down, people, settle down, she says. Attend me a moment. She lowers her voice like the walls themselves might be inclined to gossip. Let me talk to you about Sir Ambrose Mugland, a name I dare say you know.
Yes, we are.
We know him well.
This is why you've been selected to have a little chat with me, because I've had some interesting information. I've learned that Sir Mugland, he's seen fit to lodge a respectable portion of his fortune with a certain banking house. A banking house that styles itself as the Gold Tank Reserve. Odd name. It's a shabby little concern. It's stuck in a crumbling temple, an old temple of Tunge. It's in the Ironside Quarter. You know the Ironside Quarter?
Yeah.
It's an old crumbling temple. They built the bank inside it. It's all farmers. Farmers with mud upon their boots and parliament men with mud upon their consciences. Those are the people that frequent that establishment. Those are the patrons. Now it happens, she taps the side of her nose, that this establishment keeps a number of automata about the place to mind its vaults. And at present, half of those little brass mechanical fellows are away for maintenance. Hey, this is the kind of information
Nice.
Madam Dunsmith has got that you don't have. Well, you do have it now, of course. They shan't be returned until tomorrow afternoon, I hear, until after 12 bells, 13 bells, 14 bells, something like that. After lunch, anyway. Providence has been good enough to leave the door very nearly ajar for us. Is it a door?
Or is it a jar?
Your task, your mission, should you choose to accept it. Its simplicity itself. You disable the few automata still patrolling the premises. You persuade the chief clerk to surrender the vault key by whatever argument you may find most persuasive. And then you fill a sack with Sir Ambrose's gold. Once your business inside is concluded, you step out the back way with all possible haste. You should know, though, smile disappears, her face suddenly serious. Sir Ambrost enjoys the friendship of several obliging officers amongst the Rifle Street runners, none more meddlesome than that infernal woman, Sergeant Lovelace. She and her little pack are certain to be at your heels soon enough, but mark me well, do not fight them. They are the sort who would sooner shoot a body than question matters twice, and they are devilishly quick with their pistols. You run. That's what you do. You run instead. You leave them chasing shadows and empty alleys. Nothing vexes Lovelace half so much as rogues she cannot lay hands upon. If you keep your wits, you may lose them in the Wailing Scrapyard. You know the Wailing Scrapyard?
No.
It's just west of the Reserve. You know the Reserve?
No. Yes.
Well, we'll get into the details of that in a moment. There is a sewer entrance anyway, hidden within that old rag and bone yard. You slip inside there, the passage leads straight back here, where you should be perfectly safe.
Nice.
Now then, have you any questions? And you may have questions, but we're not going to answer them now. We're going to talk a little bit more about your potential heist at the Gold Tank Reserve when we pick things up next week.
Ooh. Nice.
I have to re-listen to that because I was dozing off.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Outlaws of Alkenstar and Punks in a Powderkeg are copyright Paizo. Punks in a Powderkeg was written by Vanessa Hoskins. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Thanks for listening.